Hello everyone. This video is a complete tutorial on integration DocuSign with .NET Core. The goal of this session is to help you understand both the functional and technical aspects of DocuSign, from basic concepts to real-world implementation. We will begin with an overview of what DocuSign is and where it's commonly used. From there, we will move into the developer account setup, authentication process, and configuration details. Finally, we will walk through real signing workflows, including both remote sign-in and embedded sign-in services. By the end of this tutorial, you will have a clear end-to-end understanding of how DocuSign integration works within .NET application. So let's start it. Okay, so first of all, we will see what is DocuSign. High level overview of DocuSign. Before getting into the code or APIs, it's important to understand what DocuSign is, why it's used, and how it fits into real world business workflows. For example, think about how documents were traditionally signed, printing a PDF, sign it by hand, scanning it, and emailing it back. DocuSign completely remove those manual steps. This foundation will make sure the technical sections much easier to follow as we move forward. DocuSign is the world's leading electronic sign-in platform. It enables legal binding digital document signing without need for physical paperwork. For instance, if customer needs to sign a contract from another city or country, they can simply open an email, review the document, and sign it from their phone or laptop. Everything happens digitally in secure and compliant method. This is why DocuSign has become a core tool for modern digital workflow across industries. DocuSign offers several key benefits that make it widely adopted. The first benefit is speed. Documents that once took days or even weeks can now be signed in minutes. For example, instead of waiting for a courier delivery or multiple email follow-ups, a document can be sent, signed, and completed within a single meeting. The second major benefit is security. DocuSign uses 256-bit SSL encryption and maintains a complete audit trail that records every action along with the precise timestamps. So you can clearly see who opened the document, who signed it, and exactly when each step happened. DocuSign is also legally compliant with the regulations such as e-Sign Act and e-IDAS Act, which means signatures are legally valid across many regions. Additionally, it helps organizations to reduce cost by eliminating printing, scanning, and shipping expenses. DocuSign is used across many business domains. In HR, for example, it's commonly used for employment contracts, offer letters, and non-disclosure agreements. A new hire can receive an offer letter in the morning and complete all signing formalities before the end of day. In sales, DocuSign is often used for service agreements, proposals, and quotes. A sales representative can send a contract during a client call and get it signed in real time. In general, any workflow that requires approvals or signatures, such as legal agreements, vendor onboarding, or internal approvals, is a strong candidate for DocuSign. So now let's see in the developer account setup of the DocuSign. Now that we understand what DocuSign is and where it used, we will move into developer setup. In this section, focuses on creating a DocuSign developer account, which is required to access the APIs and start building integration. To create a DocuSign developer account, navigate to the DocuSign developer portal and click on sign up for free. You will need to enter a basic details such as your name, email, company, country, and after verifying your email and a phone number, completing your profile. This will complete your profile setup. Your developer account will be ready to use. You will get with a developer account, so you will get access to DocuSign's free sandbox environment hosted at DocuSign, demo.docusign.net. This environment allows unlimited API calls for development and provides access to all DocuSign features. The account is valid for one year and can be renewed for free. And you can create multiple test users for development and testing. So now let me show how to actually create a free developer account. Okay, so first of all you will need to redirect, go to this URL account.docusign.co. Here you need to choose an option sign up for free. Okay, so here you will need to enter your first name. So let me add test account. Here you will need to enter your actual email ID. Company name, your country or region, and what you want to build with the DocuSign. So here we will select API integration and agree to their terms and conditions. Okay, after verifying your email address, it will send an email to whatever email you have entered. You need to enter a 6-digit verification code from the email you have received from the DocuSign. Okay. So once you will enter the 6-digit code you have received on the email, it will ask you for your phone number. So first of all, you will need to select your country code from here and then add your mobile number here. And for whatever mobile number you will enter here, it will send one code to that, and you will also need to authenticate that also. Okay, so here it is asking for a digit verification code we have received. So once you will enter the code you have received, it will ask you to create a password. So let me enter a good password here. And next. Okay, so once you will enter the password, it will redirect you to this page. Okay, so first of all, next. Now you will need a API credential setup. So let's see that. Okay. So we will configure the credentials required to securely interact with the DocuSign APIs. These credentials are critical for authentication and authorization when making API calls. The integration key, also known as a client ID, uniquely identifies your application. To create it, go to settings, then apps and keys, and click on add app and integration key. Now let's see how actually it looks like. So we are here in the admin section of our DocuSign account, and we need to go to apps and keys, and from here you can see your user ID, API account ID, and account based URL. So account based URL will be the same for all the developer accounts, demo.docusign.net. So from here we need to add app and integration key. So let's give it a name like test app create. Okay, so this is your integration key. You need to copy it from here. Then you need to select the integration type, select private custom integration. So the description for this is use if you are using DocuSign customer integration in your system with DocuSign APIs. So we need to select this. Okay, after that we will need to generate a RSA key pair for JWT authentication in our application. So for that we will need uh, in under service integration we need to click on generate RSA. Okay, so this will be your key pair ID for this public key, and this is the private key. And one thing you need to make sure in this step is copy both of these keys to a safe location, as they will not be displayed again. So we will copy it and store it anywhere in our system or key wallet safely, so we won't lose it. Okay, so this is it. Now that's all what you need from DocuSign account. Now let's see what next. Okay, so now in the .NET application you will need to create one new .NET project, and if you already have a .NET existing .NET project, you will need to install a .NET DocuSign SDK in your project. You can add it by a .NET add package DocuSign.esign, or from NuGet package manager also you can install the package. Okay. And next we configure the application setting. Using the app setting JSON, we define the DocuSign section with placeholders of credentials and environment values. Okay, so for local development, we use user secrets or initialize it in the app settings, and for production, we can store it in Azure Key Wallet or any safe place of your project. And once we finally register the DocuSign configuration and services in program.cs, this is done using the I option pattern and dependency injection to ensure clean and maintainable code. Now JWT authentication. JWT authentication, which is the recommended approach for server-to-server DocuSign integration. Understanding this flow is essential before making any API calls. In the JWT flow, a token is created using the integration key and user ID. This token is signed using the RSA private key and exchanged from an access token. The access token is then used for API calls and remains valid for approx 8 hours. Right. The key methods include the get access token async, which retrieves cache tokens, and get API client async, which returns a configured API client. Request JWT user token is a core method that performs JWT authentication. Okay, now let's move to next topic. This is that is a remote signing. Remote signing means DocuSign sends an email to recipients who click a link and sign on DocuSign's platform. What you will do, you will create an envelope definition containing documents and recipients and sign here tabs using the anchor string readability. Call the create envelope API and store envelope ID in our database. This method is ideal for workflows where signers are external or not logged in into your application. Next is embedded signing. So embedded signing happens inside your application using iframe or a new tab. For this, add a new client user ID to the signer we are creating for the sending the envelope. Create a recipient request and get a sign-in URL back from the DocuSign. Open this URL in your application, and one important thing here is sign-in URLs expires very quickly and are one-time use. This approach is perfect for authenticated users and for in-app workflows. So now let's go get into the code section. We will stitch everything together: authentication, envelope creation, and launching the sign-in experience. We will start by initializing the DocuSign API client using our cache JWT access token, then create an envelope with documents, recipients, and tabs. Finally, we will branch into a remote versus embedded sign-in flow. Keep your ID open so you can follow the methods and data models step by steps. Okay, so this is the section 1. Here what we have done, I have already created a .NET Core Web API using the .NET New Web API and install the DocuSign SDK with a .NET Add Package DocuSign, or you can also use the NuGet Package Manager available in the Visual Studio for the installing of the package. And I have also configured the variables in the app settings under the DocuSign section and binding the same via the I option pattern in the program.cs file for dependency injection. Okay, so here what we have done, we have called API client dot request JWT user token, and we have passed the parameters integration key, user ID, DocuSign demo account URL, and the private key what we have generated from the DocuSign platform, and some default values to the method. By this we will get a full token from the API client from the DocuSign, and from that token we will add a access token to our API endpoint. So you can see variable API client is equal to new API client, and then we have added the DocuSign demo URL, and in the header of that we have added bearer plus token access token dot access token. So this way you can generate the access JWT token and use it in your application. This is section 2. Here we will build a signer which will be a recipient also, you can say. Here in signer you will create a new object. In email you will enter a signer email, a signer name, recipient ID, routing order, role name, and client user ID. And these are the default values you need to use for recipient ID 1, routing order 1, role name will be signer, and client user ID will be 1, 2, 3 for embedded signing. Alright, and then you will need to add a anchor tag as we have already discussed for signing on the DocuSign document. And you will need to create another recipients will be a list of signers. Okay, one more thing, you can create a multiple signer for one document. So as you can see here, we have the new recipients, we have new recipients will be a signers, and it will be a list of signer and the recipients. So it means you can create a multiple signer in a single document. Now, once you have set up the signer or recipients, you will build the envelope definition. So here you will see the status will be sent, as we are sending the document for the first time, and on the initial stage, email subject, whatever you wanted to set. For my testing purpose, I have set agreement for signature. Notification will be a notification uh, includes two things: reminders and expirations. So here in reminders you can set a reminder enable equal to true and reminder delay equal to 7 and reminder frequency equal to 7. This means reminder will be enabled for this document and it will remind the user or recipient after 7 days if they have not yet signed the sent document to them, and it will remind them every 7 days according to the remind frequency we set. If you want user to remind after every 3 days, in remind frequency you need to set remind frequency equal to 3. Expirations will be the expire enabled will be a true, expire after will be 30, and expire 1 is 5. So what will happen, the document we have sent to the recipient, it will expire after 30 days of sending and warn the recipient before 5 days of the expiration. If you want to warn them before 10 days, you will need to set the expire warn equal to 10, and if you want to change the expiration time, like if you want to set it to 10 days, that after 10 days the document you have sent will be no longer legal or valid, so you need to set expire after equal to 10. So yeah, and these some other things, composite templates, server templates, inline templates, you don't need to worry about that this at this time. You can write whatever I have written right now here. Okay, so now as we have already created the envelope definition and defined our signer, now we will call the envelope API of the DocuSign with the API client we have created, and in return, and then we will in return receive a envelope ID. So what we have done here is envelope summary result equal to envelopes API dot create envelope. This create envelope method is a main method which creates the envelope and send an email to the account ID, send an email to recipient, and for this method we need to pass two parameters, account ID and envelope. Envelope will be what we have created here, envelope definition. Okay, so once this API or a method will successfully run, you will in return get an envelope ID. So you can use this envelope ID and store it in your database. Now, so till this code section 4, it was for a remote sign-in, right? So receiver or a recipient will receive one email and they will sign on the DocuSign from email, right? If you want to enable the embedded sign-in, like we have already discussed that you wanted to open a DocuSign in iframe or a new tab within your application, what you will need to do extra is create one view request with a recipient view request, and in that you will need to create a model like this, and you will need to assign a client user ID 1234 here and recipient ID equal to 1, and you need to create a recipient view, create recipient view with account ID, envelope ID and view request you have created. Once you will hit this method create recipient view, you will in return get one URL which will be your return URL and read or a redirect URL, and use that URL to redirect within your application in the iframe or a new tab of your application, and user will be able to sign the document within your application. Yeah, so this is the embedded signing. Okay, I hope you get all the things clear and you understand the basic of the DocuSign, how you can integrate in the .NET, and if you have any doubt, let me know in the comment section. I will try my best and earliest to give you the reply. Thank you.